If your calves still have horns, you are risking injuries, lost income, and poor animal behavior. Let me show you the right way to dehorn early with less pain and better result. Have you ever seen a calf screaming during dehorning? It's heartbreaking, but it doesn't have that to be that way. Today I'll show you how to dehorn humanely, safely, and stress-free. You see this animal, we are going to dehorn it, and the results will be this way. You can now see it is very aggressive, feeding well after dehorning, and the entire thing has embarked to normal. Let me guide you through this whole procedure humanly, step by step. Just sit, be relaxed, make sure you watch until the end of this video. Thank you and welcome. Hello my good people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. It depends on the time that you are watching this video today. So I go by the name Lumumba Jr. That's my YouTube channel, but my real name I'm called Maxwell Lumumba. So any of them, those are good names to me. So today I'm going to do something different. That is animal health management. So today I'm going to do what we call dehorning. Yeah, we are going to dehorn a very big animal. We are going to remove the horns. Apart from removing the horns, at least we can share some ideas on how to go about it. And apart from sharing those ideas, we can even discuss about the best time for dehorning your animals, because you see now in the marketplace we have different ways of dehorning. First of the ways that we have is using the rubber rings, whereby you put the rubber rings to the horn. After putting it, then you give it enough time so that it can cut by itself, but it takes a longer time as compared to what we are going to do today. Because the reason why I have decided to do this today is because it is the demand from the farmer. The farmer wants the horns to be down, so I have to do what he wants, because there is a time he did the dehorning way by putting the rubber rings, but it was not successful. Then another thing that maybe another way of dehorning, which is usually done to the small animals that we do, we call it disbudding. Yeah? Disbudding is whereby we take something called dehorning iron, then we put it on fire, then we scoop the whole horn bud. But today it will be different, because we won't do that, because these are fully grown animal, around 1 to 2 years old from the farmer. Because I've seen the animal, you have seen the animal where I was, it was being restrained and pushed by the farmer so that everything can be done. So because the farmer is preparing something about fire, because at the end of the day, after doing the dehorning, we have to cauterize that place, because we have to burn that area so that it won't grow again, and to kill all the cells so that to make them dead. So now that I'm going to see the animal, then because basically what is usually done, make sure that if you want to disbud or dehorn your animal, do it early enough. Mostly maybe the first months in life. So that means when the calf has been born, the first month in life, it is good, because one of the things that we don't require any anesthesia to do that. Apart from requiring anesthesia to doing that, it is not painful as compared to this big animal. Because what I've told the client himself, I've told the client that what we can do, just make sure you go bring some men so that they can help us restrain the animal, and we have to go systematically. Today we are going to do what we call how to restrain an animal. We put it down, then we tie the legs. Apart from tying the legs, so we have to put it in a good position where that once we put it down, it won't disturb us. Then we just do the entire thing, and we will go procedural, step by step. Then everybody will learn systematic way. So the benefits of doing this dehorning, one of it is that to avoid injuries from itself and maybe the farmer. What do I mean by that? Telling about avoiding injury, because you see the animal might go maybe someplace, then it knocks its head on the walls, or it maybe they get another animal, they knock each other. You see, by that it means, because the horns are big and protruded, and it has some dead cells there, it may be result to some negative impact. Then about injury to the user, that means sometimes animal like this will cause animal can even do this. We call that, I don't know, it is to pull or we call it in Kiswahili kugonga. Yeah, it will push you with his horn, so that means that it can even scoop maybe your ribs, it can scoop your body, so that means you'll be having an injury. So we want to, another reason is about space. You see, when the animal has horns, it covers a very big space as compared to hornless animal. Another thing is about injury to the other animals. Yeah, that's why I was talking about fighting with other animals. So to avoid all things like those, that's why we are now removing the horns. So let us go see the animal, then we appreciate, then we'll do it systematically, putting the animal down, then progressing systematically as we learn. Remember, I told you I'm just helping. Yeah, I won't charge anything. In our conversation you will hear nothing about money. Then another thing that we have to appreciate, because you have seen the video about animals I was taking, a lot of them has horns. So for this, I'm doing this just to demonstrate to the farmer that having this animal with the horn and having this animal without horn, because you see, like hornless animal, when you take it to the market, people will be like, want that animal because actually it increases the demand, because people believe that the hornless animals, at least they are something like a cross between the indigenous and the other breeds. And apart from that, even for the indigenous, we have the zebus, borana, not zebus, borana animals. Most of them are hornless. So people want those types of animal. So because we are dealing with these big animal, we have to take some precautions. One of it, we have to give it something like painkiller. Apart from painkiller, we can use anesthesia, because so that it can't feel pain. Then I have to advise the farmer, because once we do that deburning, then we leave the horn to be rained on, it will result to something we call sinusitis. That is inflammation of the horn, okay, that it will start forming some pus inside. So I have to make sure at the end, I have to advise the farmer so that it can't be sinusitis does not affect that by doing this, because I have to tell him that you should make sure these animals should not be rained on, because that is one of the things. Another thing, you have to make sure you give some spray at the entire thing. You put spray there, aerosol, so that the insects, those are the flies, that not get a place where they can at least get somewhere where they can leave their eggs, then form pus. With that will bring a lot of negative impact to that animal. So let's proceed with the animal, and we have to learn about this. Guys, this is our animal for today. You can see we can really appreciate this type of an animal. This is our animal for today that we are going to remove the horns. Here it is, very grown, very full grown. Then we are now doing what we call putting pangas and the entire thing. Remember, I told you we are in a rural environment. We don't have disbudding irons or the entire thing. So we are going to use, how many pangas are those? Ziko panga ngapi? Mbili. So we have here, we have to heat them so that they can be red hot. The first procedure that we have to do now is about restraining. So like you can see, that person has firewood. This is just to make sure that these things get red hot. You see now pangas are here, the entire thing. We want to make them hot, red, so that we kill the horn bird and the entire cells on the animal's horns. Remember, this animal does not know that we are now want to deal with it, so we are going to put it down. This is not a very big animal, so we are going to put it down. After putting it down, we restrain it well, so that we don't get difficulties when we start at least doing operations to it. Remember, I told you this is animal health management. We're just going to manage those horns and the entire thing. So let's proceed with the entire process. So I'll start by removing we're actually tying the animal so that we can put it down, and I'll show you the best way on how to do that. Yeah, I'm going to show you the best way on how to do that. Guys, today we are going to learn on how to cast this animal down. It is not big, so I'll just hold it that way, then I direct it to a safer ground where I can put it down. So this is called casting to the ground safely for procedure like this dehorning. So we have to twist the neck to avoid harshly, so we cannot injure the animal, and instead we have to take it safe and control method used by experience the way I've done it. So the first thing that you have to do is just to stand on the calf left side near the soldier. Use your right arm to reach under the calf neck and grab the opposite front leg. Then you have to use the left arm to reach over the calf back and grab the opposite hind leg. In a smooth motion, pull both legs towards yourself while slightly turning the calf neck toward the ground. As the calf loses balance, guide it down gently onto each side. Then we start tying the legs. Once the calf is down safely, tying the legs properly is the key to keep it still, safe, and to prevent injury to both the animal and the handler during procedures like this one. So what I can do, because I'm going to do the vice versa, because we usually start with the fore legs to the back legs. So but here now I'll tie the hind legs together, same as front. Cross the top hind leg over the bottom hind leg, then loop hole around the boat just above the hook or pastern. Avoid tying it too tight to prevent cutting and circulation. So we already restrained our animal. As you can see, this is our animal, it is down. Now we start the entire thing. So these are the requirements. Requirements I have here. This is the spray for the horn after cutting. This is what we will use to cut. We call it the horning wire. And this, I won't explain about this, but you'll see what I'll do with this. For this, we call this local anesthesia, and we have to inject this local anesthesia in the corneal nerve. I'll show you where we have our corneal nerve, then we will proceed from there. So you can just come and see where we are going to inject that anesthesia. As we can see, we have this rope. Remember, it is passing through the back, so that means in the neck region it is now somehow loose. So I'm going to take my local anesthesia. This is it, and I'll have to inject it so that the animal does not feel pain when we are cutting it. So this is our corneal nerve. Come and show us this is our corneal nerve. This is where I'm going to inject the anesthesia. And this is the corneal nerve. This is the corneal nerve, so I'll inject the anesthesia so that this animal does not feel pain. I'll take it round so that our animal does not feel pain when we start cutting it. So that means that I'm going to numb this area. Actually, I'm going to numb that area. Yeah, then I'll start, but I'll have to wait around 5 minutes so that the anesthesia can now work fully. So I'm trying to explain to the farmer that when I'm going to take these to cut these horns, he has to make sure that it won't be rained off, because remember I told you something about sinusitis. Sinusitis is the inflammation of the horns. So I don't want a scenario whereby once we have cut this, then we have this place being infected, pus coming out, and the entire thing. So I'll start cutting. So I'm going to start cutting. I'll place my wire here.
Talk hapa.
Kuja moja kuja. Hizo. Tana na panga tu. Usishike hivyo. Ile tu. Onti kuja. Sasa wewe, onti kuja. Niende huko. Sasa kanyaga hapa mguu moja, kanyaga hapa. Onti kanyaga hapa. Kanyaga hapa. Hapo sasa ikuje hiyo position. So mimi
Toka hapa.
tuko sawa? Let's go. So I'm going to cut Mshike na boss. Mwingine akuja kanyage hapa. Before I start, I have to give out instructions on how to restrain this animal properly, because you can see it has started kicking, but I have to give out the direction and the entire thing so that we don't get disturbed while doing all these procedures, guys. So remember, now you can see the other guy just put the hand in the mouth, so this is the one way of restraining it so as to have that gravity on the ground. Boss, apart from kushika hapo, kaa hapo juu hapo, sawa? Wewe kaa kaa. So tunaenda sasa. Wewe unasukuma kwenda huko, sawa? Fika kwenda huko. Shike na nyuma. Apart from animal safety, I have to make sure people safely, because you see like this guy, I have to make sure that the hand is not touched with that wire, so that you know it's very painful to cut somebody's hand with that wire. So we have to keep distance from the wire. Yes, exactly. Now our horn is down. So what we do after taking down the horn, we now do what we call cauterizing the area with a hot iron is the next step. This helps stop bleeding, destroy any remaining horn producing tissue, and prevent regrowth or infection. This is how to do it safely, because you can see now I'm holding a panga. I'm using that to do what we call preheating dehorning. That means that first it was on fire the way I showed you. Then actually what we did is to ensure the iron is hot enough. This tip should be red hot, not just warm. A too cold iron causes pain and poor cauterization. Position the iron over the horn base. Place it centered over the horn bud or freshly cut base. Press down firmly but not forcefully. Twist the iron in a slow circular motion for 10 to 20 seconds. Watch so that it burns properly. Then we have now to spray using our antiseptic spray like this one, that is an aerosol, so that will keep the place good, and we prevent maybe houseflies and any bacterial infection. Remember, these aerosols contains also it contains something like antibiotics. Yes. About this hole here that is here. So what we will do, because you can see we have a hole here. So this hole, we won't fill this hole with anything, yeah? Because once we put any foreign materials here, it means that with those something like we have to leave this place free flow of air should be here. So once we put something like a cotton there, actually cotton has some droplets. It will result still to sinusitis, because once we put cotton there, maybe a bit of it may enter inside, and apart from that, there will be warmth accumulation. Where warmth accumulates there, you will get that there will still be some pus and the entire thing. So this place will still be infected. So we are going to leave it that way. We don't seal it, and with the time, like maybe 3 to 4 weeks, it will start filling itself with there is a layer that will come from inside, so that it will fill that place. Even if we come here after around 1 week, we'll get that there is a layer there, and the healing process will start, and it will heal fully. So we have now to rotate this animal to the other side, so that we do what we have done on this side, we do it on the other side. So let me rotate this animal. Now I'm going to roll over the animal to the other side and progress with the same way we did to the other side. What we did on the other side was good. Guys, after putting this animal this way, you can see the rope is not safe enough, so I have to go and tie that rope to avoid strangling this animal, because you see now it is on the neck, so I have to lose it. Then we proceed with the whole process.
Miriam, fanya chapu, shika joto.
Guys, we are now repeating the way we did on the other side. So I have to reposition this wire well so that I cut something continuous. I have to position myself the wire well, then we proceed, and have to make sure that we're not causing any injury to the animal and also the people I'm working with, and we proceed that way till we are finished. So here's our animal. Now we have now to cauterize it. So let them bring that one panga. I have to do this systematically. You see, now I have to put it for around 20 seconds, then I put it around the horn bud that way so that I can burn entirely the whole place where I've cut. Yeah, you see that I'm taking it round so that the whole area is cauterized well. Yes, so because when this panga gets maybe somehow not hot, I have to now to request for another panga so that I can do it very well. Here's another panga. You can see that kid is rushing with it. Yeah, I'll have now to make sure that this place is properly cauterized so that we kill all the cells here so that this horn cannot grow again. Yeah, and that's it. Sometimes in a rural setup things behave like a comedy. Now they have brought me a wire, not even did we call it something rental wire so that I can buy, but it's not working. Yeah, I'll have to put it aside so that I can maybe put the antiseptic and proceed with the other operations. Remember guys, I said that using antiseptic is just to make something like flies, they can't lay eggs here or stand here, and it offers this place something like a protective thing, so that we don't have bacterial infections. The way I tied it. You can see the way it looks good. Now from the horn to hornless, yeah? From horn to hornless. So that's it about dehorning our animals. You see those holes that have left there, it will fill by itself. There is a layer that will come and fill that place. We are going to put anything, we are not going to put anything in there. So we leave now the animals to go. Then I'll have to come back, inspect the progress and the entire thing. Remember, that's dehorning. This is just in a rural setup. You have seen we have used pangas, some what do we call this? Non-dama what in English?
No, reservoir.
we call them rental wires.
Yeah.
That node, we have used that, so that means that we are now using the available resources that we can get in the environment. You can now see the animal is feeding normally, back to feeding, and the entire thing, the normal routine, it has to feed well, so that means it has sent back to its duty. Even though you can now see the animal now, it is feeding well even more than the way we found it, because we found it was maybe grazing but not that aggressive. As you can see now, it is eating from a wheelbarrow, so you can have a look at it. So you can see now it is feeding very well, so that means it is back to normality. Nothing has affected it, no any negative impact. So let me just take you around it so that we can really appreciate what has been done today. From horn animal to hornless animal, it now look like we call them exotic breed. Even if you tell somebody that this is a crossover between exotic and the indigenous breed, he will say yes, because it is now hornless, from horn to hornless, feeding well, everything is now back to normal. It is now the work of the farmers now to make sure that this animal, it is not rained on, because once it is rained on, we start now treating some other things like sinusitis. And because actually what I can say, I don't like doing something about sinusitis. That is the inflammation. We have maybe some of we have pathogens enter the hornbird, where we have cut through maybe houseflies and the entire thing because of poor management or soaking of water. So we get that the flies come, lay eggs, then those eggs, that place start something like rotting, forming abscess, not even abscess, pus, we call it pus. Then that thing is very hectic, because we have to put something there inside to lavage that area, because we have to clear the pus from it, so that it can now start healing slowly by slowly. And remember, it will take a lot of time, so the farmer should be conscious enough so that to make everything that we don't have any kind of infection there. And with that, we'll see a very good animal, healthy animal. We have now been anything, so even now if it is it can just pull somebody by with its horn, it won't cause that serious harm as compared with an animal that has a horn. Because we can see a lot of kids here in this compound, because from the history, because the reason why they have started, we have just dehorned this animal, because there is a time I'm told that it just kicked somebody by its head with its horn, injuring that person. That's why they had to do this. And remember, that's it about dehorning, and we really appreciate that. Thanks for taking your time, and thanks for everything. Remember, we are together. We'll keep on learning daily, day by day, and by then you'll just make yourself be superior. The way maybe I know some things about animal. Remember, I told you I never went to school for this, so I'll now just go to where the motorbike I left, so that we can proceed with journey. Remember, I told you that I usually hire a motorbike so that it can take me somewhere, where like today I'm now from the farmer, I'm now heading to where I came from, so to help maybe another farmer of the day. Because remember, my number is on. If you have any problem, as long as I'm around near you, just contact me, then I'll help you out solve problems. Because here we can even see this farmer has some chicken here. We can see chicken here. These are indigenous chicken that I think we have a chicken here having actually this farmer is infected by fowl pox. Let me show you what I mean by fowl pox. Let me show you. Look at this chicken. He has not told me, but you can see some things like black things on the eye of this chicken. That is fowl pox. That is fowl pox. See, look at this. This is fowl pox that I was talking about. I was doing some vaccination the other day. These chicken were infected with fowl pox. So you see, now that's another topic for another day. You see now we have got another case here. This is how fowl pox looks like. For those who have never seen maybe chicken yawning, this chick was yawning. But this is fowl pox. You see, it was almost closing its ear and its eyes. So this is another case. but I think this is another case for another day, but I have to interrogate the farmer more to know this thing, but I'll just do that maybe in the individual. I won't show that in camera because this was not the discussion for today. Yeah, remember, we usually advise farmers to vaccinate their poultry against foulpox, and this chick has really been in. Guys, you have seen that foulpox infection, yeah? Because I remember I told you guys that foulpox is being it is being transmitted by mosquitoes from one chick to another. The only preventive way is about vaccination. Remember I told you it is being caused by avipox virus, avipox virus. So for these ones, he has to treat them, putting some creams where we have the infection, and also he has to try like clearing the infection on the bloodstream, yeah, because once infected, these chicks, maybe when they grow to maturity, when you don't treat them well, they will be carriers, yeah. I have a clip where I was talking something about carrier. That means that these chicks will be infected for life, but they won't show that sign. But when he brings, or other chicks will be raised from these ones, so that means once the mosquito bite from this one can be transmitted to the next generation. So the farmer should do all things that has to be done so that these chicks can be prevented from that. After treatment, you should vaccinate the chicks. Happy stock, happy farming, happy farmer, and we call it that end of the day for today. Thank you. Remember, I go by the name Lumumba Junior. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thumbs up. Let's keep on learning. Goodbye.